Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Closer Look, the show dedicated to bringing you the facts. We ask the questions no one else will, and we get the answers that no one else can. I'm Arabina Apia. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, here we are. It's another year and another crime episode. Y'all ain't tired? Because I tired. Quite frankly, I feel like the entire nation has been stuck in this never-ending cycle of conversation about crime, and each time we say the same things. The police need to do more. The government need to do more. These nonprofits need to do more. Matter of fact, let's just bring back hanging. Am I saying that these things aren't valid critiques? Certainly not. But what I am saying is that it might be time to acknowledge that crime is a multifaceted issue that requires a more holistic approach. And we are the whole, all of us, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunties, uncles, cousins, pastors, preachers, and teachers. All of us. And again, that's easy to say, but I'm more interested in what that looks like. For us to really get a hold of our crime problems, we need to be prepared to make the hard decisions and do the hard things. Maybe that means handing over that wayward child to the authorities. Maybe that means not ignoring certain red flags in the name of minding your business. If crime is everyone's business, then every one of us needs to be doing the work. It means holding ourselves and those around us more accountable for our role in creating the Bahamas which we all claim we want. So tonight, and for the next 3 episodes, the conversation continues. We're taking a closer look at the government's recently introduced 5-pillar plan to attack crime and the criminal element. In our 3-part series, we'll take a closer look at the impact of crime on families and communities, businesses, and even look at rehabilitative efforts as well. I hope that once we're done talking, though, we would have created a roadmap towards a safer, more productive society. So stay tuned, because a closer look begins right after this. Welcome back. You're watching A Closer Look. I'm Arabina Apia. Thanks so much for tuning in. Since the start of this year, 2024, we have recorded 26 murders. For many Bahamians, the victims of these crimes are just a number. But for their families, their deaths represent more than just the loss of life. Tonight, we tell the human stories behind the statistics and take a closer look at the profound impact of crime on our communities.
Regardless what they might paint a person as they were in death, at the end of the day, that was still someone's loved one.
That was Candy Gibson, who for the last decade has been an advocate for families of murder victims around the country. Her organization, aptly called FOAM, Families of All Murder Victims, was born following the tragic murders of her own 2 brothers. As part of the effort, Gibson and her team have taken on the mandate of telling the stories of victims in hopes of making them more than just crime statistics. And as someone with intimate knowledge of the impact of murders on those left behind, she weighed in on the recent spate of homicides here in New Providence, which have claimed the lives of as many as 26 people in the first 2 months of 2024.
There's a saying that, how can a mother forget the child she once bare? How can a wife or girlfriend or sister or brother or children forget the father or brother or aunt or uncle they grew up with? And so people don't understand.
Local authorities maintain that for the most part the country is safe, noting instead that the recent spate of violent crime is the result of gang conflict. Gibson says while she does not believe that anyone has the right to commit murder, she had this piece of advice for members of the wider community.
So I want to tell persons, when you see families, crying and grieving, grieve with them. Grieve with them. Say a silent prayer with them, because murder and arrest can be made for anybody.
When we return, we continue our focus on crime and community. Stay tuned because A Closer Look is back after this short break. This is BDC Living, where we bring your indoor and outdoor living dreams to life. Visit our AIP warehouse showroom and explore the wide range of luxurious bedding options designed to transform your bedroom into a sanctuary of style and comfort. Experience firsthand the ultimate comfort of our sofas and sectionals, or transform your dining area with pieces that combine style and functionality. Visit any of our BDC Living locations today and let your dream decor journey begin with us. Welcome back. I'm Arabina Apia. You're watching A Closer Look. Thanks so much for joining us. In tonight's episode, we're creating a citizen's roadmap to a safer Bahamas. In this next segment, ACL correspondent Catherine Duncombe takes a closer look at what happens when citizens take a stand against crime and communities band together to take ownership of their safety. Catherine?
Locked doors, security cameras, and guard dogs have become a new norm in many communities with the unprecedented rate of crime. However, the National Neighborhood Watch Program is dedicated to creating safer communities.
The mission of the National Neighborhood Watch Council, which was established back in 2018, is to cultivate safer neighborhoods. In the past 6 years, the program has grown to encompass 167 groups, all working together to foster unity and camaraderie among neighbors. Chairman Kino Wong details how the National Neighborhood Watch Council implements the Davis administration's 5-pillar plan to combat crime.
One of the first components is prevention. As the Neighborhood Watch Program is essential in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, we are here to prevent crime. We are here to prevent it so that we don't have to call the police. And if we call the police, then there is what? Prosecution. And the prosecution brings punishment, and then there is rehabilitation. We know that if we can continue to gain the support from the police, as we do, from the government, then we will continue to have great programs in our communities that will prevent crime in our communities.
And Wong emphasizes that when communities foster strong bonds built on compassion and mutual concern, it can serve as a deterrent to criminal issues.
The families are left to mourn. We have kids that are left to cry. And we wonder why in years to come that we see these same little kids are now having a gun in their hands and want to kill again. It's because no one is there for them. We as a community, we as a country, we as leaders must be able to go into those communities and express the love to these people.
The Johnson Terrace community, where resident Nicola Cartwright has lived for 47 years, is a prime example of the positive impact the Neighborhood Watch Program has had. According to Cartwright, the program has successfully transformed her community into a safe and close-knit environment.
Before, neighbors would just, come home, go into the house, a quick hail, stuff like that. But they're gathering more and talking with one another a lot more. People are getting along much better. It's a lovely, peaceful neighborhood, friendly.
Wong suggests that individuals aspiring to create a safer community in their neighborhood can either join or initiate a neighborhood watch group by visiting their local police station and inquiring about participating in the program.
Reporting for A Closer Look, I'm Catherine Duncombe.
Thank you, Catherine. Very encouraging to see communities standing together in this way. When we return, we switch our focus to crime and the business community. You don't want to miss what's coming up, so stay tuned because A Closer Look is back after this.
I always wanted to be a writer. I want to be famous.
I want to be technical and creative.
I always wanted to be in a band.
I want to be a movie director.
I always wanted to be a professional. Yeah!
I want to be creative.
I want to do John Canoe all day.
Should have been a dancer.
I want to be a star!
You soon can be at CAPAS, the Bahamas School for the Creative and Performing Arts.
Welcome back. I'm Arabina Apia, and you're watching the first of our three-part series on crime. Thanks so much for tuning in. Local businesses and business owners continue to be among the demographic most impacted by crime. In this segment, we go to Marcos Ambrister, who takes us into the busy Palmdale district for insights into how some businesses are navigating the criminal element.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force serves as one of the greatest stakeholders in the prevention and fighting of crime in our communities. And when it comes to protecting businesses, there is no exception.
We have mobile patrols and we also have foot patrols in the Palmdale area. But another aspect that we're going to come up with very shortly is Business Crime Watch, which allows business owners to network and communicate and secure their businesses.
Skippings also added that businesses have already begun assisting them in the fighting of crime by registering their cameras with the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
A goodly number of businesses and residents have partnered with police and have registered their cameras. And these cameras are assisting us with investigations as we speak.
Despite these initiatives, however, business owners still have their own fears and concerns as crime continues to rise.
Of course, it's kind of hard to feel safe, especially as a female, as a woman. It's hard to feel safe when you're trying to push your business and make sure it goes in the right direction, and there's all this crime going on.
When asked what can be done to help them feel safer, here's what business owners had to say.
What I see that we need in this area is police patrols.
There needs to be someone, some entity, something in place that deters criminals.
But despite their concerns, business owners actively play their part in helping protect their establishments from crime.
So we put the buzzer on the door so that we can see or try to screen people coming in. We have put in a security out front for our customer safety and, of course, our safety.
And for other business owners out there, here's some advice from a local business owner as well as the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Be vigilant when your door buzzes. You only have a few seconds to actually sum that person up and get an idea of who you're letting in your store.
Partner with the officer in charge of the station within your divisional district. We are here to serve you. Come in, have a conversation with us so we can strategize your deposits, your closing time, and your opening times. We want to ensure your safety as well as the safety of your employees and customers. Let me just say this, crime and criminality exist when good people do nothing.
Reporting for A Closer Look, I'm Marcos Umbrister Jr.
Thanks, Marcos. When we come back, we're joined in studio by two very special guests. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned.
The one-stop shop for fashion designers, tailors, students, government agencies, junconnours, upholsters, event planners, and Bahamians with a sophisticated sense of style. Commonwealth Fabrics is here to provide everything you need, from the smallest notions to the most elegant and unique fabrics. Family and Bahamian owned since 1979. Commonwealth Fabrics is conveniently located in Palmdale to offer you the best in quality fabric and fashion notions. Come in and visit us today.
Welcome back. You're watching A Closer Look, and tonight we're creating a citizen's roadmap to a safer Bahamas. Joining me now to carry that conversation a little further are noted marriage and family therapist Barrington Brennan, and a woman whom you've seen at the helm of many a police operation and many crime scenes, Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So let's just dive into the conversation. Ms. Skippings, I think, this conversation about crime is a very timely and topical one, but I want to know from you, how does the prevalence of crime, particularly in communities and neighborhoods, impact, the population's overall well-being?
I think that for the most part, many persons are fearful because they hear of the murders occurring maybe every other day. And so they feel fearful. But I want to reassure the Bahamian people, crime is actually down. Homicide, the offense of murder, is actually up. And let me just say, with those murders that we see occurring, they are specific and they are targeted towards individuals. Well, I would dare say that the entire Bahamas is actually safe. We experience as a country the same crime that you find anywhere when you travel abroad. And like I always tell people, when you travel, you should exhibit the same safety precautions you use when you're at home or abroad.
Mr. Brennan, I want to rope you into the conversation because I think, considering your expertise, as a counselor and as a therapist, what are some of the psychological effects that you could speak to maybe on the way crime is impacting communities and specifically families?
Well, as Mr. Skippings, Chief Superintendent, Chief of Police Skippings indicated, fear, I will use fear. Reluctancy to be exposed to the outside, many families are, and people are becoming more apprehensive. Now, generally, overall, many Bahamians, even living in Nassau, would not know that there's so much crime if they don't read the newspaper or watch the TV. My neighborhood is pretty safe. I sleep well at night, but this is causing people to be apprehensive, to have sleepless nights. It might even affect some people's appetite. It can affect whether they go to exercise or not. Thus, that will impact their health. And this restlessness bringing on anxiety, depression, and in some cases, might even lead to suicide or suicide ideations.
Do you think that some of the anger that we see as a whole across the country, across our communities, do you think that is also perhaps having or is an effect of crime?
Well, I think they're feeding each other. The anger is causing the crime. The hot anger, impulsive, passionate anger, it's causing the crime. Where the anger is coming from? Dysfunctional families, maltreatment of individuals. In fact, the crime has its roots in family. Every crime that we hear about in the newspaper or the or their television start in someone's bedroom or kitchen or living room. If you don't have those, then it's even just worse.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's where it starts. Remember, the vehicle through which we disseminate our thoughts and ideas is communication, talking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the tongue, the lips, the voice. Too many parents actually talk to and at their children, not with their children. So believe it or not, shaming and blaming sort of sits at the root of why we have so much crime. Not the only ones, but a lot of our vicious criminals have been shamed and blamed. It's a kind of communication all their lives. Now they're going to show that they have power. So this misuse of power. So you can see the connection to effective parenting, proper communication, displaying meaningful love and appreciation. All of that is so important. We have a wide segment of society. I'm not giving a percentage per se, where we have too much dysfunction that's there, and not single parenting per se. Because when we go on, our problem is single parenting. We have too many nuclear families where the children are equally dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And we have many healthy single parents or co-parents whose children are healthy. So it's not per se just the fact of being a single parent. Okay? Although we know statistically that 87% of fatherless homes, the children are more likely to be criminals, commit suicide, be dysfunctional, whatever. That's true. But it's not necessarily the act that the father is not in the home, but the father involvement. Now, we want the father in the home, we want the mother in the home, but we must not use that as a crutch to say that is the actual problem. The problem is dysfunction. Okay?
So, Ms. Gibbings, I wanted to ask, because we hear it all the time about the role of the police and how, you know, Bahamians across various communities want more boots on the ground. They want to see the police presence. Are there any hindrances or roadblocks to increasing police presence in communities? And is there a correlation between more police on the ground and a reduction in crime?
Well, we have a significant amount of patrols on the ground. We have plenty boots on the ground at this time in an effort to help curb the murders that we see occurring in the country. Of course, we are targeting all crimes, but homicide seems to be the challenge right now because persons don't know how to resolve their conflicts, and then you have the gang activities. And so society itself, though, I must say, has a role to play in this equation. The family, that basic structure or that basic unit of society, they have a critical role to play in this fight against crime. Parents, guardians, fathers especially. Fathers need to play a more critical role, as well as indicated by Mr. Brennan earlier, in the fight against crime.
Mr. Brennan, we have such factors as, you know, the dysfunction that you spoke about in the family structure. We have inequality. There seems to be a lack of access to resources and all of these things. So how much responsibility should we as a whole, as a society, really take? And what does that look like if we're going to reverse some of the trends that we're seeing in crime?
I said over 25 years ago, the only way that we can reverse the crime, we have every entity need to work together. When all of these entities, schools, businesses, the church, other people in corporate society work together in providing education, providing on their own, in their own environment, proper management of behavior of their own staff and treatment, okay? Because that's where it also stems out. And providing resources, seminars, workshops, all those things have to come together to help the community. We cannot just depend on the government, social services. They're doing tremendous work. They're overloaded. But we have the individual institutions. We have the churches. We have the schools. and more and more be done. I said it's going to take about 30 years or 40 years before it really start to go down for these hot-headed things to die down. But we got to teach the current ones what now, so they can apply what they learn when they get older.
It's about training as well. We have to go back to basics, and we have to train our parents to be parents. We need more parenting classes, and while we're teaching parenting classes, we must also at the same time find avenues to change the mindset of our young people to be able to steer them in the right direction while collaborating with all of the various agencies on a consistent basis. When we see change about to take place, we cannot stop. It has to be consistent, and you have to have the passion so that we could see change in our country.
I'll just say this. Crime isn't a crime to the unchanged mind. So we need to find a way of changing our minds.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you both for being here. This has been a very insightful conversation. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you
for having me.
We have more of a closer look after this, so stay tuned.
One minute out, guys. 1 minute out. In 3, 2.
Hello, everyone. Be sure to tune in right here every Monday night at 8 p.m. for another episode of A Closer Look, the show dedicated to bringing you the facts. I'm Arabina Apia, your host for this season, and I'll see you right here every Monday night at 8 p.m. on cable channel 212. At the top of tonight's show, I challenged all of us to ready ourselves to make the hard decisions, do the hard things, and hold each other accountable. So, this is me, holding us all accountable. We're using this platform to help create the roadmap toward a safer Bahamas, and I'm challenging you in the ways that you can and in the ways that make sense for you and for your life to step up to the plate. Our individual contributions will look different, but if we're all working toward the same goal, I really believe we can do it. Next, our journey focuses on crime and tourism. So join us next week as we continue to build out the roadmap, and let's continue the conversations on our social media platforms as well at A Closer Look 242. Till next time, I'm Arabina Apia. Good night, everyone.